Hey folks, staying on the topic of bleeding control, we're going to talk about the CAT Combat Application Tourniquet today on TacMed TV. Hi everybody and welcome to TacMed TV. My name is Steve and today we're staying on the topic of bleeding control and we're going to talk about the CAT tourniquet today. Alright, otherwise known as the Combat Application Tourniquet. I'll put a link in the description below to the company that makes these. Forget their name right offhand, but you can go there and you can read some of the case studies and look at some of the science behind how this thing actually works. Now, one thing I do want to start off with before I get into demonstrating how the CAT works, okay? This is a tool for people that are trained, EMTs, paramedics, that have had a first aid class, that have been taught the hows, whens, whys of how to use and when to use a tourniquet, okay? So what I'm going to show you today is just for demonstration purposes. We're not going to go into the whens to use it. Or the whys to use it. So anyway, we're just going to go over the tourniquet itself and some of the features. And with that being said, let's dive right into it. Okay, this tourniquet is a traditional, I guess what I would call a traditional style tourniquet, meaning that it has a strap and a windlass configuration. The strap is about 2 inches wide, and you thread it through a buckle like this, okay? Just like that, and I keep all my tourniquets, regardless, as long as they're a traditional style tourniquet, I keep all of them stored in a loop configuration like this. That way, if I have to use it one-handed, I can, and I'll show you that here in just a second. So anyway, moving on with the features of the tourniquet. We've talked about the strap, we've talked about the buckle. Now we're going to talk about the windlass. The windlass is that's the bar that you spin around to generate the pressure, the circumferential pressure to cut off the blood flow, which in turn stops the bleeding, okay? This windlass has, if you can see there, has the grooves in it, alright, for twisting. The new CAT tourniquet, I think it's the Gen 7 that's out. They've redesigned a lot of this stuff. The buckle is no longer a double slot buckle, it's a single slot buckle, and the windlass is, instead of having these grooves in it, it has not knurls, but it is raised that way, so if the tourniquet's covered in blood, or your hands, gloved hands, are covered in blood, it doesn't get slippery, and you can still maintain a grip on it and turn it and effectively use the tourniquet. Okay, you've got these little hooks right here where the windlass locks into once you finish tightening it, and then you've got this little strap here with time. Now this is, don't y'all freak out, I know it's got a little bit of red stuff on it. This is a tourniquet that we use in training, and that's just some fake blood that we got on it the last time we used it. Fake blood of my own recipe. So anyway, let's show you how to use this real quick. Like I said, I keep it set up in a loop configuration. When you put it on, if you've got an injury on your arm, cinch it down as best you can. Bring the excess strapping around onto the Velcro. Make sure that the little white piece, the little white Velcro strip, is out of the way, and then you twist the tourniquet until the bleeding stops, okay? This is going to take more than 2 or 3 turns, okay? You're going to have to put a little bit of muscle behind this to make sure that the bleeding is stopped, okay? But once you do that, you get that in place, you lock it in that little hook there and that little catch right there that I showed you. You take the excess strap, run it under there as well and over the windlass. Just another little thing, it helps keep the strapping out of place and helps kind of keep the windlass in place a little bit better as well. And then you take the white Velcro strip and put over the cross of the catches, the hooks, and that adds another layer of protection to keeping the windlass in place. And that's very important. Now, with that being said, one other thing I want to talk to you about. with this, and I'm not going to go into huge detail. I'm not going to go into all the science about it in this video. Okay, that's something that's coming up at a later time that we will do, and I will share with you. But you notice this says time on it. It's very, very, very important that when you put a tourniquet on, that you put the time that you placed the tourniquet. Okay, make sure you put the time on here. Okay, we're dealing with a window of hours to get the tourniquet off, okay, before it starts causing permanent tissue damage, nerve damage. Okay, so it's very important that you put that on there. The other thing that I will throw out, and this is the stuff that I teach the officers that I work with on the special operations team that I'm assigned to, is that keep a Sharpie with you, and then take that Sharpie, if you use a tourniquet, take that Sharpie, put a T on their forehead, and then also write the time on their forehead, and then right next to all of that you put RA for right arm, LA for left arm, LL for left leg, RL for right leg. I almost got confused there. So anyway, make sure that the location is done, okay? Because for the reason being that any care provider that comes in contact with that patient, they're always going to look at their face. And if they see that on their forehead, they know, they see the T, they know there's a tourniquet, they see the time, they know that that's when the tourniquet was placed, and then they see the RA, LA, LL, RL, they know where the tourniquet is and they know to start looking for it, okay? So it's very important that you do that. Very, very important that you do that, okay? With that being said, the CAT tourniquet, I think, is an outstanding piece of equipment. I have used it to great success in the field. It has done as advertised, okay? I can't ask any more of it than that. It does work very, very well. The one concern I did have about it was one of the times that I used it, the windlass, by the time I had gotten to the hospital, the windlass had bent. Now, it didn't break, which is awesome, but it did bend somewhat, and the reason that that's a concern to me is because if it's bending, that means it's releasing pressure, and that's something we don't want to have happen. Okay, now again, it was an older generation CAT tourniquet that I used. It was not the Generation 7, the Gen 7. I have not got my hands on a Gen 7 yet. I'm anxiously awaiting that opportunity. So that may be something that they revamped along with the rest of the design, like I told you about earlier. So anyway, I think it's a good piece of equipment. I stake my life on it. I have a CAT tourniquet on my heavy vest in the first aid pouch that has the first aid, that has the medical stuff that's supposed to be used on me if I get hurt. Alright, if I'm hurt and I can't speak, I can't talk, I'm unconscious, whatever, somebody comes up to take care of me, there's a kit on my vest that is specifically to be full of equipment to be used on me, okay? And I'll go into that. That's actually going to be a whole nother video. But anyway, I think it's a good piece of equipment. If you get the opportunity, these are readily available. I think right now every branch of the armed services, this is a standard issue tourniquet, whether it's the Air Force, the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps, Coast Guard. This is what they're all issued, okay? So it's out there, it's available, you can find them pretty easily. So anyway, with that being said, that's the CAT tourniquet. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave me a comment in the section below. Let me know what you liked about the video. Let me know what you didn't like about the video. If you've had an experience with the CAT tourniquet that you would like to share with me, I would love to hear it. I love to hear what you guys have to say, okay? So just leave me a comment in the comment section below. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you like what we're doing here on TacMed TV, what we're trying to bring you, think about hitting the subscribe button, okay? I would really appreciate that. Right next to the subscribe button is a little bell. You hit that, that's the notifications. You'll get a notification when the new videos are coming out. Okay? So with that being said, again, thank you for your time. Keep supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. And until next time, I'm Steve from TacMed TV saying stay safe.